I'm going to start with you, Group Captain Vinod, because being a fighter pilot or a military pilot, it appears, is one of the leading criteria the world over for space missions. Can you tell us why that is? Why is a fighter pilot usually the kind of person who's chosen for this kind of a mission, sir? We've seen it in the United States, we've seen it in China, we've seen it in Russia.
Very true, and that is as we spearhead the space movement, so to say. But later on, NASA has taken a lot of professionals on board.
Yes.
So scientists, teachers. The famous Columbia accident was, there was a teacher on board. So they all sort of, follow the paths that the initial people have taken. Be that as it may, the question I am addressing currently is on the issue of why fighter pilots. I'm being a fighter pilot, I'm saying this. There is no other profession which is as close to pushing the human limit in a short period of time. Mountaineers are there. That is for a long period of time. In a short period of time, there is no other profession that exists in the world. Let me put that in a little more context, Shiv.
Yes.
When you pull 910G, like when you do a low-level work on a Mirage 2000, she sustains or sometimes even accelerates in a 9G flight. 9G, for the people to understand, if your helmet is, say, weighs 3 kilos, I'd say 10G, it will weigh 30 kilos. Imagine flying with 30 kilos on your head.
Yeah.
And your heart stops. Not many people know this. Completely stops. And restarts at about 220 to 240 beats per minute.
Amazing.
So that is the kind of, you go through that kind of, you don't straight away jump into 9G flight.
Right.
You go through that kind of training over a period of 3 to 4 years. You go into a centrifuge, which is right next to your favorite town, Bangalore.
Yeah.
That is where the only human centrifuge is. And we go through lots and lots of training before we get into allowed to pull 9G in a flight. Not many people again know this. So for you to be exposed to that kind of physical, high physical requirement itself is a very, very demanding, point one. Second is the mental thing. This mental thing is sometimes is an overriding factor in my opinion, because fighter pilot does everything alone in his little cockpit. There have been times when I am flying over the vast desert west of Jaisalmer. We were doing a mission that time. West of Jaisalmer is completely devoid of any light, and you are not talking to anyone because you are doing a no-RT mission, and you are all by yourself in a dark night. For some people, it can be really claustrophobic. So that is another issue. And when you're doing air-to-ground, when you're doing air-to-ground work shift, if you don't pull out from a dive after having dropped a bomb, in less than 1 second, you will probably hit the ground. And I have lost many colleagues of mine for owing to late pull-out and stuff like that. So these young men who have reached where they have reached, behind me and on the screen as well, have reached after having gone through many levels of sifting, if I may put it that way.
Yes.
Both naturally occurring, in which we lost people, and in the form of selection as well.
No. So, the picture you're painting is an extremely important one. It answers a lot of questions, Group Captain, which is physical fitness, the ability to take, split-second decisions which could mean life or death, the comfort with total isolation in a, small confined space, mental fitness, the ability, to be, in a very high performative state, even under a great deal of pressure. All of these are part and parcel of combat aviation, and therefore it sort of naturally flows into what Mission Gaganyaan will really demand from these people. I'll come back to you, sir.